Alright, all. Looks like I am live. YouTube says I'm live, and YouTube never lies, right? Welcome in, welcome in. This is Hanging with Dave, episode 63 this week. Got a little bit of compelling news this week. And we're also going to be doing some reaction videos, some of my first videos I put out here on the channel. And then, of course, we're going to be doing the Q&A. And of course, anybody that's in chat that's live, I'll definitely take time and answer your questions, comments, concerns, anything I could possibly do, the best that I can. It's just, just a little show that I do, kind of pretty well just to interact more with the fans or my subscribers, the ones that want to come and hang out with me, that can make time to do so on a Saturday morning here. Like always, there's a few disclaimers I throw out at the beginning of each show. Number one, I do drink a cold Budweiser while I do the show. So cheers to y'all. Hope this Saturday's finding you well. Number two disclaimer. I am a truck driver by trade, so I do cuss. I try to keep it to the minimum on the show, but it does slip out from time to time. So that's also something else to keep in mind. We do have quite a bit going on here. Massacre 1878 is in the house. Made it today, Dave. I hope you are all good. I hope you're good too, buddy. I hope your family situation is getting better for you. I hope you got that under control for you. Thank you for joining me today. Appreciate that. Second disclaimer, like I said, I am a truck driver by trade. I do use foul language. I try to keep it to a minimum on the show, but it does slip out. So if the drinking or the cussing offends you too bad, maybe this ain't the right stream for you. I don't mean to sound like an asshole when I say that, but it is what it is. I don't want nobody to be here that don't want to be here or don't like the way I am. When it comes to the English language, I ain't very good at the English language, let alone some of these YouTube handles. So if I butcher your name too bad, you have to overlook me or you'll be mad at me for a long time, one way or the other. What else is there? Overclocking videos. When it comes to overclocking videos, I get a lot of questions. I got these components. What can I overclock them to? I don't know. That's the fun and the joy of overclocking. So, and the question is, what can you get out of your components? Even if I had the exact same components, I couldn't tell you what to type in as far as overclocking goes, because my components may overclock better than what yours does. It's the fun of overclocking. It's the joy of overclocking. But I do answer the questions the best I can and give you my best opinion on it anyways. But if as you've seen the title, the RTX 3060 is not good for crypto miners. Question mark, question mark. And there's a reason why I got that. And also, like I said, we will be going back and look at some of my first videos. They're kind of cringy. It's been almost 5 years since I've been on YouTube. A couple weeks away, it was March the 4th of 2016, I uploaded my first video, actually the first 8 videos on the channel. We're going to go back and look at some of those, kind of make fun of myself, and I don't have to worry about copyright, because I ain't going to copyright myself. I thought that'd be a little bit interesting, since it's been almost 5 years, a couple weeks away from being 5 years exact. And then we'll get into the questions and the concerns and all that, like always. Blueberry Pie 157's in the house. Hello, how are you? I'm doing good, Blueberry Pie. How about yourself? Hope everything's finding you well on this Saturday. What are you doing? Oh, I'm just sitting here doing a little live stream. What you doing? I hope you're enjoying the live stream. Like I say, we got some interesting topics to talk about. NVIDIA's trying to stop the miners from eating up all the GPUs, which I kind of questioned it. And when I first heard about it, I'm okay, I'm studying. you're studying and watching your stream. Well, thank you for watching me while you're doing that studying. Appreciate the support and appreciate you watching. I try not to interrupt you too much. I'll try to keep the volume down a little bit for you. That way I don't disturb you too much. I want to throw out a I don't know what you call it, but the 3060 series thing that we're going to be talking about today. Let me flip you guys over here. We'll get rid of the self-advertisement. That ain't needed. Oh, you're welcome, Blueberry. NVIDIA says GeForce RTX 3060 is meant for gamers, not crypto miners. I want to throw a shout out to Brian over at Techway City. He actually, one of his videos actually brought me to this, made me aware of this. The links for for his video and for the 2 articles I got pulled up on this will be in the description below if you'd like to actually go read the articles, if you'd like to go watch his video. He's a much bigger YouTuber than I am. He's got pretty good content on this. His video actually brought me to the attention of this, actually. So yeah, what is crypto mining, I meant. Crypto mining is pretty well, I don't know exactly how to explain it. I don't quite understand it myself. But your computer will run all the time. Mining is, I don't know, pretty well a fake coin. But people's willing to pay money for them. If MT Coiner is in chat, or if he's here today, or if he comes in, he'd be the one to ask about it. He seems to be more in contact with crypto mining. But crypto miners are eating up all the GPUs to be able to mine these said coins that's worth actual money. That'd be about the best way I could explain it to you. Like I said, I'm not really up into it. I'm not, I've never pulled up the websites to do a whole lot into it. But some way, somehow, your computer does this hashing thing that actually creates you money. And GPUs is one of the best ways to do it, apparently. Yeah, so I really don't know exactly the process behind it or how it actually makes you money. But somehow people found a way to use graphics cards, video gaming cards, to be able to produce money. So that's the way and that's one of the main reasons why your GPUs are so hard to find today at the prices that they're supposed to be selling for. It's because of this crypto mining. All these crypto miners are buying all these graphics cards up to be able to make money off of them. And then you got the ones that's buying them up just to resell for 3 times the money to flip them, just to make a profit that way. So, the GPU prices is pretty outrageous. But, like I said, NVIDIA's trying to fight back on this. I wish they'd be, I wish AMD would do it. NVIDIA says GeForce RTX 3060 is meant for gamers. And this comes from CNET. It's not for crypto miners. If you want, like I said, if you want to read the article, it'll be linked in the description below. I also got one from Thomas Hardware. It'll be linked in below. If you'd like to go see Brian over at Techway City's video on this, it's a pretty good video. He also got a video out on this. But basically, because of the driver set and the way the BIOS is on the 3060, it ain't supposed to be very good for crypto mining. So it should cut down on the demand for the 3060 due to the miners not wanting it. Which, it kind of makes me happy to see that NVIDIA is trying to do something about this. They put out another card. Where's it at? It's there in the article someplace, a CMP or something like that. I never really got to read the article a whole lot. I'm kind of throwing darts at the wall on this one. GPUs are for gamers, they ain't for miners. because of the BIOS on these new cards and the software that your drivers that runs your GPUs. It's supposed to take out the efficiency that they can actually do the crypto mining at. NVIDIA is releasing, right there it is, what they call a CMP, which is a graphics card made for mining, which this ain't nothing new. They did this back in 2019 when crypto hit it big. 2018, whatever it was, 17. That's when you see the graphics cards, especially a lot of them on eBay. You see them with only one, maybe two outputs on the back of a graphics card, or some of them don't even have an output on the back of them. That they was designed back then for mining. You know, apparently NVIDIA is going to do this again. Try to keep the cards out of the hands of the miners, and that way us gamers can get more of it. To get more supply to us gamers that really want to use the cards the way they're meant to be used. We'll pick, hey Dave, greetings from Turkey. Well, welcome in, buddy. Appreciate you joining me. Realize between Asia and Europe. Okay, well, appreciate it. Glad you came in, joining, hanging out with me today, bud. Hope you get a little bit of entertainment or some little bit of news out of today's topics I'm talking about. But yeah, they are trying to do something at least. At least NVIDIA is trying to do something to get graphics cards to where us gamers have access to them. And crypto miners ain't so anxious to get to them. MT Coiner, he's in the house. Those new mining cards don't have very good TDP. Most wouldn't use them if they didn't fix that. Okay, is that what the situation is? MT Coiner. If you feel a pair or two, Blueberry Pie was asking what coin mining really is, crypto mining really is. I don't really have a straight definition. Maybe you could embellish on what I said it was. You know, it's a way to use a GPU to make money, about basically what I know. You seem to be pretty well into the crypto mining and setting up a rig for that. Maybe you could actually tell them what crypto mining really is. If you don't mind, if you want to. Because I don't have a very good definition to it. But the TDP is what's really has a very good TDP. Well, that was the thing. You know, my big thing is NVIDIA is trying to stop the miners from using these cards for gaming. They got the CMPs that's made for miners, which they've done this before, like I was saying. You know, you got graphics cards. Whenever you buy a graphics card off of eBay that's used, you definitely want to look at the back of them, make sure they have outputs, or the right outputs that you need. That way you can use them for gaming, and it wasn't made for a mining rig back in 2017, 2018, 2019, in that era. A few years ago when mining hit it big. These new mining cards don't have any good TDP. So yeah, so NVIDIA says that because of the drivers that's coming out from these new graphics card and the BIOS of the graphics card don't make them very good for mining. Crypto mining is just processing transaction. It's called POW, or proof or work. Okay, there you go. But NVIDIA is trying to put a stop to this, which kind of makes me happy. Especially for the guys that just want a game, which these cards are designed to do. There's supposed to be something within the BIOS, something within the drivers that stopped it from doing the major crypto mining anyways. Which Ethereum, I guess the way you pronounce it. That's the main one everybody's going after right now. Right now that's the main high dollar one. But, you know, and whenever Brian from Tech Yes City, I watched his video on this, you know, it's the drivers, it's the BIOS. Most people that's actually into into mining, they usually flash their own BIOS onto the graphics card. And I don't see why many miners would actually use the drivers for these video cards if they got a different BIOS on them. You know, you can use the Windows generic drivers that they upload for the GPU, just use them to get around this. Which, over here on Tom's Hardware, there's an article. Despite, well, hell, maybe I ought to flip you guys over here, huh? Over here on Tom's Hardware, there's an article that says, despite NVIDIA's anti-mining lock, RTX 3060 can still earn up to $7 a day mining. And this will also be linked in the description below, along with Brian's video he got out about this, along with the other article I was reading from CNET there, where he's kind of looking at. But even with this, there, you know, there's other types of crypto mining out there, not just Ethereum. What was it? It actually says this guy's name. There's a guy on YouTube that tells you how to do all this. And probably a lot of them, actually. But once you flash that BIOS and you don't run their drivers, you know, they're still reporting up to $6.5 per day, $6.5 a day in profit from the 3060. And this is doing coins such as the Octopox, I guess, Cortex, and a handful of other ones. So these cards are still doing crypto mining, and it's still worth buying them up to be able to make that $6.5, $7 per day on. I'm sure they'll work something out with the 3060. I'm hoping they do. You know, but it kind of impressed me that NVIDIA is even taking this approach and trying to stop the crypto miners from wanting the graphics cards for this. But you know, if they can still make $6.5 to $7 per day profit, you know, that's going to be enough of a profit to where these miners are still going to want these graphics cards. And it may not be within the Ethereum or how we pronounce that. But there it is. You know, but if you're running a custom BIOS on this, and surely you ain't going to be running the drivers for it. You're going to be running the generic drivers with Windows installed just to be able to get to do what it needs to do. I don't see how this is going to stop the miners. Word has it people are still going to buy the 3060. Yeah, I mean, you know, if you can make $6.5 to $7 a day off of a 3060, why wouldn't they do it? You know, I mean, I don't know, over the last couple of videos live streams I've talked about this. I've been thinking about setting my system up to do it while I'm not using it. You know, which I ain't gonna flash my BIOS and all that because I want to keep my original BIOS, but I can still make some money off my 2070 Super. But you know, it's kind of interesting that NVIDIA is at least attempting to do something to stop this, to keep the gaming cards in the hands of the gamers. And as I kind of look up to, you know, NVIDIA for at least trying this, for attempting this, which, you know, miners are hackers, you know. I mean, they write their own BIOSes where they can use these cards and make the most money off of them. Why couldn't they find a way around this? You know, if they don't run their BIOS, they flash them with their own BIOS, they don't run their software, there's nothing stopping them from making their potential. You know, which is kind of what I thought when I first seen Techway City's video about this, you know, because he went into how it's because of the BIOS and because of the drivers. Miners run their own BIOS, they run their own drivers. They don't need something like this. You know, there is a workaway around this. But it's kind of nice that NVIDIA is taking an approach to this to try to stop this, to try to get them to where they need to be. I think it's kind of ball-based. Once the Ethereum hash algorithm runs for a bit, it will need to hash rate someone will hack it. Cuts it in half. Yeah, that's what Brian said. It cuts it in half. But by this article from Tom's Hardware, you know, it's still making $6.50 a day, $6.50 a day by running different coins. So, you know, it's still, you know, it's $6.50 a day. You're looking at, I think the card's supposed to be, what, $3.29 or something at retail? I think that's what it said down. I kind of briefly read down through it. Yeah, $3.29. The card's going to be coming out here in 5 days. Today is the 20th, right? Yeah, today's the 20th. So it's coming out in 5 days for $3.29. So if you can buy these cards, we'll flip you guys over here. So if you can buy these cards for $3.29, which is retail price, you divide that by 6.5. You're looking within 50 days or a month and a half, you could have the card for free. If you run it for coin mining, you know, why wouldn't you? I mean, within a month and a half, you could have a free video card. You know, why wouldn't they eat that up? I would. MT Coiner, sorry, new phone, getting some tempos. That the plans of autocorrect. Yeah, the Ether and BTC is still running. Yeah, you know, it's just, you know, it's, I mean, you know, my hat's off to NVIDIA, like I said, you know, that they're trying to do something about this. But the BIOSes, they run their own BIOSes, they run their own software for drivers. I don't think this is going to do a thing to it. And they're still making, like I just showed you, you know, 50 days, you can have a free video card by Bitmining with it. Anything after that 50 days, as long as the price stays up on the coins, you're making profit. You know, it's going to be it's going to be pretty hard to beat this, you know. I mean, NVIDIA's trying. I can understand that. But the way technology is now today with this, you know, with the way people can find the ways around these BIOS versions and the way they work around these drivers, create their own drivers, you know, that ain't going to be the answer. There's going to have to be something physically inside the card that's going to stop these miners. And you're going to have to hit more than just the one type of coin. There's so many different types of coin out there these guys is after that, you know, it's going to be almost impossible to stop wanting a gaming GPU for their productivity. You know, nothing the hardware on a card won't help the supply problem. They just need to make more cards, like they said in the beginning. Yeah, making more cards would be the easiest way around this. Which I don't know exactly what the bottom line looks like. But, you know, with everything that's going on right now, you know, as far as getting even the components that makes up the cards, you know, I don't know exactly how that supply chain is. I don't know how strong that supply chain is. With everything going on in the world. You know, even back in 2018, 2019 when crypto was real big, you could get graphics card, but you're paying a little bit of an inflated price. Now you're buying graphics card for 3 times what they're supposed to be, what you should be paying for them. You know, the crypto ain't the only thing that's causing this. You know, it's the fact of getting the components built and getting the cards built. You know, with the sickness that's in this world right now and everything like that, it takes a big part on the manufacturing, because all this manufacturing is done overseas, and less foreign countries, you know, that may not have the, how do I want to say this without offending anybody? I know a lot of you is from overseas, but it ain't, it's the third, you know, that ain't up on the technology on how to fight this virus and whatnot's going around. You know, and there's still a lot of people out of work. There's still, you know, people still getting sick every day because of what's going on. So that's going to affect the manufacturing of the components that goes into even making a GPU. And I haven't done a whole lot of research on how to see how that breaks down. But I'm sure, you know, you can't, you know, they can't send in an order for 3,000 graphics cards to be made and boom, they're there. You know what I mean? It's just the manpower just ain't there right now with everything that's going on. But I do agree with that, you know, being able to get more cards made would be the answer to it. But I have a feeling, this is just my feeling, just like back in 2019, 2018, whenever you couldn't find a graphics card in no place and you're paying extra for a graphics card, sooner or later this crypto is going to fall. And when it does, you're going to see a lot of these cards come on the market for sale for used. You know, back in the day when it first happened, back in 2018, 2019, you was picking up RX 580s, RX 570s. You pick them up for $100 a piece. You know, you're looking at today's prices. You know, you're looking at $300 or $400 for these cards, because that 8 gigs of VRAM can still do the mining that these guys can make a profit off of, and it's going to fall. And it's like any other economy. It's like any other way of making money. You know, it goes up and down. You know, maybe I'll look into the crypto mining, which I've mentioned the last couple of live streams, because my video card I'm running, the 2070 Super, it can make more money than what I make off of YouTube on a day-to-day basis. Maybe I'll start taking advantage of that. I don't know. Maybe I'll look into it. Maybe I won't. I think it's kind of nice NVIDIA is looking at ways to try to prevent this. I believe the supply of graphics cards ain't going to meet the demand anytime soon. But they'll come back around. You know, crypto's going to fall. You know, what's plaguing the world right now is going to start tuning down, which it's tuning down already, by the way, I'm understanding it, which is going to bring the manufacturing back up. It's going to work itself out. I just don't know when or how, but it's going to happen. But anyways, enough of that side story. I can't believe how quick we went from people selling their 2080 Ti's to this. Yeah, exactly. And the 2080 Ti's, you used to be able to get them all day long for them kind of prices. You can't do it nowadays. And again, it goes back to the supply and demand. It goes to these cryptos that, you know, these crypto miners wanting them bigger graphics cards. You know, even the 2080 Ti, you know, it can still produce a decent profit in crypto mining. You know, which like I said, you know, it ain't just the crypto miners that's got the GPU prices all jacked up. It is the supply and demand of it. But we're going to change topics here. That's about all I really got on this. You know, I don't want to get into too much political, which it will turn into political if we keep going on this, because there's a lot of different feelings out there. There's a lot of different outtakes on this. So how about if we go back, and why I decided to do this year, or do this week. Let me flip you over here. We're going to go back and look at some older videos, see where I came from. As you can tell, here's my content by the date of the oldest to the newest. I started this channel back in 2016, March of 2016. More or less than, what, a week away, 2 weeks away from my 5 years I've been doing YouTube. You can tell I didn't know nothing about YouTube because I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 videos in one day it was uploaded. Woohoo! You know, I thought I was going to do something good with 7 videos in one day. Didn't know about the algorithm at the time. But what really gets me is, yes, I've been putting out videos for 5 years. This channel is 5 years old. But you look here, September the 22nd of 2016, and then it was, what, 2 years later, on October the 24th of 2018. So that was a little over 2 years, 2 years and a month. I didn't do nothing with the channel. You know, I had a comment a while back, a few months back or whatever, you know. Somebody says I must be, you know, I should be a lot bigger than what I am of a channel and whatnot, due to being on YouTube for 5 years. You know, but like I just showed you right there, it's been, you know, there was 2 years there that I didn't do nothing with the channel. It's kind of hard to grow when you don't upload content. But being almost 5 years, you know, I figured it'd be a good place to go back and look at some of my first videos. Kind of laugh at myself pretty much. MT Corner. Think of how much money people in third world countries make on mining. The RTX 588 gig can feed a family. And yeah, you're right. Third world countries is big into the mining because of the profitability of it, and the living expenses over there in them countries is so low. But a lot of the people over there in the third world country can't afford a 588 gig. You know, and that's why the GPU thing's kind of a balancing act right now, because of the mining and because of the availability of the cards. And the miners, I'm sorry MT, I know it seems like you're pretty well a miner. You know, you're trying to set up your mining rig and whatnot. You're trying to get at these GPUs for your mining rig, you know. But mining is a big reason why the GPU prices is what they are right now. The first video I saw from your channel, I think, was one of the videos from the Gigabyte B450 MDS3H series. Yeah, I did put out quite a few videos on that motherboard. First couple ones I did pretty good, so I figured I'd follow up with them. But if you like cringy videos, this is going to be the section of the live show this week's going to make you cringe. You know, I kind of had fun going back through my old content this morning, picking out some of these videos to look at. And there's certain reasons why I picked the ones that I picked. Like I said, you know, the first day that I started the channel, I uploaded 8 videos at one time or something like that. You know, and I didn't know nothing about the algorithm. I didn't know nothing about YouTube. I still don't know much about YouTube. It's been quite an experience for the last 5 years. I picked the very first video I uploaded. I'm going to flip you over here, and right there it is, 450 budget PC build. In the last 5 years, or almost 5 years, it's got 114 views. If you guys are looking at the screen over here on this section, don't pay too much attention to the right. That's too buddy. It's a little thing that I kind of use to do some of my SEO and stuff for search. MT Corner also, I just do anything tech. I own all my GPUs already. NVIDIA is producing the 1050 Ti again. Unfortunately, they are overpriced. Yeah, they are overpriced. What software do you use to stream and record and stream? If it's screen capture, streaming, it's OBS. If I do screen capture, it's also OBS. I got the Elgato 4K 60 Pro that I hook other systems in through to be able to capture what's going on their screen. But I use OBS. What is it? I got it downloaded, but I don't use it. It's OBS Streamlabs or something. I don't use that. I just use the old-fashioned OBS. I don't even know what the other one is. OBS Studio is the one that I use. Then there's a Streamlabs or something, but I got it downloaded, but I don't use it. I was trying to use it whenever I was on YouTube and Twitch. Yeah, just classic OBS. Is the 1050 Ti still a good GPU? Yeah, it could be, depending on what you expect out of it. It still should be pretty good for your 1080p gaming. It's not great, but depends on what games you want to play. Yeah, it depends on what games you want to play. Depends on what resolution you want to play at. What kind of frame rates you expect out of it. I mean, it ain't the greatest. But right now, as long as you can play your games, I'd say stick with it. Until these prices come more into check, I don't see no reason to upgrade unless you right down have to. GPU prices are just too outrageous right now. But anyways, let's. I'm not gonna play these whole videos. You know, I got 4 or 5 of them here picked out, and there's different reasons why I got certain ones picked out. This is one of my first ones I ever put up on the channel. If you don't like cringe, now may be the time to leave. It's got 114 views in the last 5 years. Let's see where Dave's Techways came from. Hi guys, it's David again. I'm glad you're watching my video and you found my channel, however you decided to stumble across it. Today we're going to be going over what I would consider the minimum build for anybody. It comes in at about $450 after the mail-in rebates. Stick around if you would like to see what the cheapest system is I'd build for somebody. Thank you for watching. Hey guys, it's David again. Imagine that, huh? Hey, today like... Look at that. Would you just imagine that? You imagine somebody actually watching this video. Let's see how I can change this. I still can't really see them all. This is one of my first videos I put up. It is definitely bad. But let's watch a little bit more of it. This is when I was using OBS to capture my screen. Plus I had the cell phone going. I didn't have a mic. I was actually using the mic off of the cell phone. But this was Dave's Techway back in 2016. Said in the intro, we're going to be going over a $450 build that I put together. This is about the bare minimum. And you actually watch my mouth and you actually listen to it. It don't even match up together. That I would build for somebody. It is good for your web browsing, checking your email, your social media. Also, it's good for 1080p gaming. In most cases, it may not play all the tricks. And today, 5 years later, I would not recommend that for any kind of gaming. It would be a basic little computer for web browsing and stuff like that. But any kind of gaming would be out of the question. AAA titles like you'd want. Some people would even consider this a console killer. I don't like that word, but you know, you got the consoles and you got PC gaming. To me, it's two different ball games, two different ball games playing in 2 different ballparks. But anyways, we're gonna go through these parts, and if you think you can build a better system than this for $450, give me the link in the description below, and we can discuss what decisions is being made. Starting out today, we're going to be starting out with an AMD A876. Wow, that shows the age of the video right there. The A8 7650K. Blueberry Pie, Fortnite, Minecraft, Valorant, Cold War, other FAP shooters games. If you could hold off on that 1050 Ti upgrade, I'd definitely do so. You should be doing all right with that, especially if you're playing at 1080p. that 1050 should be playing them games because they ain't real demanding games. Your Minecraft may be lagging a little bit, but the rest of them should be doing pretty good on 1050 Ti. As long as you're doing 1080p, 60 hertz or so, you should be doing all right with that 1050 Ti. Alright guys, I don't know about you, but I can't watch any more of that video. That was definitely very, very bad. Honestly, I've been really hoping NVIDIA would drop a 6 gig 3050 Ti for about $199. I think it's in the works. I think it's in the works. They're down to the 3060 now, and whenever these cards are first launch, they usually launch at the high end and they work their way down. So I'm sure they'll be getting to the 3050 Ti. 6 gigs, it's possible. It's possible they'll have the 6 gigs on the 3050 Ti. Alright, that video is a little too cringy. So here we go. We'll be looking at my first unboxing and overview video. Like I said, I'm not going to play all these because we'd be here for hours waiting on these. This was March the 15th of 2016. It only had 84 views. And I can understand why. I did have a lavalier mic at least by this point, but I still recording on my old soccer mom camcorder. Hey, what's going on, Matthew? Glad you could join me, buddy. Appreciate you being here with me today. Right now, we're just kind of going through some older videos. It's been almost 5 years since it's been on YouTube, so I figured it'd be a good time to go back and look at some of my first videos. This is the Corsair 200R unboxing and overview. Let's see what Dave has to say about this case. Eventually, Ether will be over 6 gigs and all 6 gig cards will be off the radar again. 4 gig cards are kicked from the Ether mining. Yeah, you have to have a good bit of VRAM to be doing your mining with. You know, that's why if you're going to buy a video card nowadays, which I've said in my other videos, you know, save up till you get the 8 gig version of them. But right now, with the way the mining is, your 4 gig cards where the price is. You know, you can pick up the 4 gig cards right now fairly cheap compared to the 8 gigs because that's what the miners are wanting, is the 8 gig cards. And yeah, I see the 6 gig cards are going to be doing the same pretty soon. Let's see my first unboxing and overview video. See how bad I was.
Hey guys, this is David. How we all?
Now keep in mind, guys, when you watch this video, this one here, my wife was sick at the time. I was living with my brother and sister-in-law. It's kind of why it's kind of keeping my voice down in it. So let's see what I got to say about this case in this old video.
Hey, today we're going to be taking a little bit closer look at the case I've talked about in my other videos, the Corsair 200R. It is going to be kind of an overview and my thoughts on why it's the best case for 50 bucks. Hope you enjoy. Stay tuned.
Yeah. Let's get by that
case. If you watch my other videos, you know I consider this.
Look at that. Looks like I had some muscle back in that video. I wish I could get my muscles back up like that. That'd be nice.
Be the best case for the money at $50. It's a nice plain black case.
That'd get good for an office environment or a gaming PC, either way. Also, the 980 Ti cards are still decent for gaming, but not really effective enough for mining, even with 6 gigs. Yeah, the 980 is still a decent gaming card if you're looking for 1080p gaming, but miners really ain't into them too much right now. But it's just too old of an architecture and they can't produce enough of a profit for miners to be into.
This environment looks good in the home. They don't have a bunch of flames or a bunch of plastic on it, which is nice. LED at this price point. You have a 120 in the front, 120 in the back. You normally get one fan with a $50 case. This one you get two. They ain't the most quietest, but they'll get you by, and they are decent things. It's nice.
And I always wondered why my channel wasn't growing back then. Kind of looking at that content, it kind of makes me wonder why. Makes me understand why my channel wasn't growing back then. But that was my first unboxing and overview I did on the channel. The next one I'm going to play here a clip of. I had to throw this one in because even in the 5 years that it's been up, it was 2016, so yeah, it's 5 years old. It's only got 5 views in it, so I had to show this one a little bit of love. But this is definitely a bad one. This is definitely cringy. You definitely it takes a special kind of person to watch these kind of videos.
Do it again. Today we're going to be taking a look at the TP-Link AC 1750 wireless dual band.
Boy, the way I'm leaning back in that one makes me look awful comfortable. I must have been comfortable. Must have been ready for a nap in this video. I think I needed a haircut too, I believe.
PCI Express adapter. Stay tuned to see the unboxing and a little bit of an overview of it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey guys, today,
there we go.
I said in the intro. Today we're going to be looking at the TP-Link AC 1750 wireless dual band PCI Express adapter. Basically what this does, you put this
in this video here, I still up my brother and sister-in-laws when my wife was sick. So yeah, my voice is awful low. I'm still learning how to edit. So the volume is all messed up in it. The cutscenes ain't very good in it, but you know, that's where I came from.
Through PCI 1X slot. And you hook up to the Wi-Fi with it. That way you don't have to run a cable upstairs or downstairs or whatever. This particular model, at the 5G speeds, is supposed to do up to 1300 megabytes per second. The 2.4 gigahertz is supposed to do 450 megabytes. And there it is on the back of the box. Hoping you guys can see that. I don't know if the lighting is very good right now or not. But basically we're going to be doing an unboxing. As you can tell, screen wrap's still on it. I've never looked at this thing. Never actually included it. I've never actually used one of these. This is a little bit more expensive one. You can get cheaper ones than this one. But I wanted that 1300 megabytes at 5G for my home environment here, where I'm staying at anyways. We had another box inside of a box, and that box is empty, so we'll put that over the side. Okay, let's see here what we got. Turn this around so you guys can see what's coming out of it. Alright, what we got here? We have technical support.
Alright, well, no wonder that one only got 5 views on it. I definitely wouldn't want to sit through that video. How about you guys? Next one we got up here was the first, one of the first build videos I had on the channel. Wasn't the very first. The very first was the half-O Evo case. This was after you almost done studying blueberry pie. Well, that's good. I hope I haven't interrupted your studying too much. You're learning what you need to learn for your classes. But since 2018, that's what, 3 years ago? Almost 3 years ago. It's had 100 views on it. Hey, look at that title. Oh, what a title. This was the first video I put out on the channel once I got reset up here in my new place. Once I got the new new mobile home put on the property. So let's see if I've improved much. I doubt it.
Welcome back to Dave's Techway. Today we're going to be doing the build in this rail case.
Boy, what's up with that echo? Which, I guess my echo probably hasn't got much better. This microphone's got a little bit better. That echo is something in this one.
We're going to be building with the Ryzen 3 2200G. And stay tuned and I'll show you how you can build your own computer. Be right back. Alright guys, like the intro said, we're going to be doing a build today. I got the Roosevelt case right here. I got the Gigabyte B450M DS3H motherboard. I have a 240 gig Kingston SSD. Ain't the most capacity, but it is going to be pretty quick on fire up. I have the processor set out. I have the ADATA XPG RAM set out, and the motherboard set out before we can get it all prepped up and get ready to go in the case. Now let's get the motherboard pulled out of the box here.
The funny thing is, I still have that motherboard. Well, it ain't that exact motherboard, but one just like it, the Gigabyte B450M DS3H, back there on the back shelf in the box. That table I'm working on, it's still sitting over there on the counter, which over there in the corner, which you guys never see anymore. Still got the same screwdriver, still got the same utility knife.
Put the anti-static bag over to the side. Because you can tell when I hold the motherboard, I hold it by the edges and by the plastic whenever possible. Once we get the CPU and the...
what's that, Matthew? The cinema angles and quality defo better. Yeah, I think I've came quite a ways with my videos. The angles that I do is a little bit better. Definitely the quality is a lot better now since I'm doing the 4K cameras thing. And even back then I was using a lavalier mic, but it was a cheap $20 Amazon lavalier mic. And today I'm using a little bit more expensive one. I've actually updated my lavalier mic system. So I'm hoping the video sound a little bit better than this too.
Air cooler for the CPU. And on this motherboard, the little there we got it lined up. Alright guys. I did have to get one more tool out. I got the 6" extension bit for my driver, which is still number 2 Phillips. Got this, you can do it without it. But it just makes it a lot easier with these air coolers if you have a longer extension bit. There you go. It don't matter which corner you start out with. You start out with one corner. You just want to get in there a couple threads just to get it started.
I do have to say, even back then when I first started doing this, I think I was doing pretty good with the little bit better explanation behind what I was doing and why I was doing it than what a lot of YouTubers do. A lot of them seem to be, I don't know, not quite as in depth or don't really take the time to explain to you, which of course this is a 35-minute video, almost 35-minute video. But I think I covered it pretty well, even back in the earlier days of the channel. My first build, I got a Dell Octoplex and swapped it all over to a new case so it could fit a GTX 970. I was so excited when it actually turned on and worked. Yeah, you can take older computers and put them in new cases, give them a new uptick. And back in the day, whenever I first got into computers, that was the main thing, you know. And that was the main way of flipping computers, is taking an older computer, putting it in a new case, putting a video card in it, you can make a profit on it. Nowadays, it's a little bit harder to make a profit by doing that, just because there's no upgradability to it. You know, they're all pretty well dead platforms at this point, unless you're going to build something new. But back in the day, that was a good way of making I made decent money back then by doing that kind of stuff. Now let's skip ahead here a little bit, see how much more detail I get into.
connection for it. It says CPU fan right there above it. That's where you need your cable to plug in.
Yep.
You got your header, you got that little clip right there on the side.
Yep, I think I did pretty good detail back then. Not bad. I mean, it's only got 92 views, but
Sometimes.
only 92 views, but you look over my tags and my title, you know, it's no wonder I couldn't go on YouTube at the time. And then, of course, I had to pull out my most popular video on YouTube, which I know it's over 100,000 views on this one. Let's see here. Views. It's got 107,277 views on it. So it's doing pretty good for the channel. Actually, if you look at the statistics, it's got 320 views in the last 2 days. That's pretty good. I mean, it's the best performing video I put out on the channel. And it's how to overclock your RAM with a Gigabyte B450 MDS3H motherboard. Look at that lighting. Boy, ain't that some lighting I had back in the day.
In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to overclock your radio.
And someone's mentioned, in one of the comments about the volume on this, about how the volume wasn't turned up enough. And normally when I do my video editing, I turn the volumes up to try to make them match now. Back then, I didn't know nothing about doing that. This was in November the 27th of 2019. So it's a couple years old as well. But like I said, it's still one of the better performings for the channel.
How to turn on your SMP profile if you got RAM that's compatible with your motherboard. And if not, I'm going to be showing you an example of how to manually overclock it if you don't have your SMP profile available to you, like me, because I didn't check my QEL list.
And that's as loud as that video goes.
Motherboard, but you can still manually overclock it. Stay tuned, and I will show you how to overclock that RAM and get the most performance out of it. RAM and your motherboard and your BIOS. There you go, we click a couple buttons and boom, it's done. That's going to be the easiest way to do it. I got a video out that shows you how to make sure you pick your compatible RAM with your motherboard using the key.
Alright guys, that's enough of that cringiness. But while we're on here, we'll go ahead and pull up one of my newest videos here. And we'll see what you guys think of it compared to that stuff. Hold on, we gotta wait for the commercial to play on this one.
I started my first channel when I was 16.
Alright, I don't like the title.
There we go.
I'm going to show you how to do the cable management in that new gaming PC built here in 2021. There's a few reasons why you want to do this.
Still going strong, the vid. Yep, still going strong.
In the future, you kind of know where the cables is running and whatnot, which makes it nice for diagnostics. Also, you spend all this money and everything for the ARGB and everything else for your computer to keep the front looking nice and neat. And when you tie them down in the back, you do some cable management in the back, they help you start putting the components together to get your computer up. Will be your zip ties. Now your case and your PSU will come with a few of these. The tie down points. So the second way I use my needle nose pliers, I like taking a pair of needle nose pliers here, grabbing a hold of it, and just kind of wrapping them around the needle nose pliers here.
MT Coiner, $10. Next round of beers on me. Well, thank you, buddy. Appreciate the direct support. I always like them super chats when they come in. Appreciate it. Means a lot to me. Makes my hours I put in doing this worth a little bit of something to me. Appreciate that. Thank you, MT.
Put a little bit of tension on it.
But I think my video quality's really improved. I think my audio quality's really improved. I think my video editing style's really improved. That was kind of fun though, going back and looking through where the channel came from and where we're at today with the channel. And my camera presence has got a good bit better than what it was back in the day. I think I'm doing pretty good. I think I'm evolved pretty good. One thing I didn't mention, which I was going to mention, and I never did mention, I've been doing YouTube now for 5 years, or almost 5 years. Next month will be 5 years for me. But there is something that I need to, I think it's relevant anyways. Show you the analytics here in a second as soon as I find the gap. But there it is. This video right here, and them two should have never been done. But I went from September the 22nd of 2016. I went all the way up to October 24th of 2018 before I did another video. That video there we kind of took a glance at. That was the $500 Ryzen build with 2200G. That was the first video that I did here in the new home. Once I got the new mobile home set up here on the property. That was a pretty rough time in my life. That's why there's such a gap there. So yeah, I've been on YouTube for 5 years, but you take away that 2-year gap, almost 2-year gap there, or a little over 2 years. And you know, so I've been doing YouTube for about 3 years. I think my quality's got a little bit better. I think my being comfortable on the camera all around's got a little bit better. And it's only been the last, I don't know, year and a half that I've actually took this serious. And I've been uploading on a constant schedule. You know, been doing the live stream now for over a year, since, what was it for the live stream? I think I started live streaming in, let's see here. When did I start the live stream? When did I start the live stream? I started live streaming October the 26th of 2019. I've only been doing the live stream for a couple of years. Blueberry Pie 157, my studying is complete. My studying is complete. My studying is complete. My studying is complete. It's about 11 at night. LOL. Well, as long as you got, as long as you learn everything you need to learn for your classes, Blueberry Pie, that's the important thing. That is the main thing. As long as you learn what you need to learn to be able to pass them classes. 11 at night, where you're at. Now, that's pretty late, bud. Good thing tomorrow's Sunday, and hopefully you got tomorrow off and you don't have nothing to do. You can sleep in a little bit. But your studying is done. That's good. That's good. I like to see you guys still studying and doing what you need to do. But my first live stream was October the 26th of 2019. So it's been a year and a half since I first started live streaming. I'm not going to play a clip of that because that was just terrible. Almost as bad as some of the other clips I've showed you in my other videos. But I think my video presence has came a long way. My lighting's definitely came a long way. I'm hoping the microphones I'm using came a long way, because that was the very first videos was on the microphone of the cell phone that I was using. Blueberry Pie, I guess I'll see you next time. Thanks. You're welcome, Blueberry Pie. You have a good evening and have a good night's sleep. And I'll be here next Saturday at the same time as far as I know. So I think I've came a long ways with the channel. I think I've came a long ways with the equipment that I use. Matthew, talking about CPUs, finally sold my old 3400G for a 1600 AF. Can't wait to install it next week. He finally sold out of the 3400G for 1600 AF. Can't wait to install it next week. Oh, you got the 1600 AF. Okay. Blueberry Pie, see you, Dave. Thanks for being with me while I studied. Hope you and your family and the rest of the chat have a good day. You too, buddy. Enjoy that nap. Get you some sleep. You definitely deserve after all that studying. Yeah, going from the 3400G up to the 1600F AF, that's definitely a good increase. I think you'll definitely see a big improvement in your system with that. As far as your gaming performance goes and just the responsiveness, you know, how fast the computer reacts and whatnot. You're going from 4-core 8-thread up to a 6-core 12-thread. I think you'll see a big improvement in that. Yeah, that'd be something to be excited about there, Matthew. But I've been live streaming since October 26th, 2019. I think I've done pretty good. I've only missed three shows, which I've kept the numbers going. You know, whenever I miss a show or whatever, I don't skip that. When it's just that episode goes over to the next week. I think I've been doing pretty good. I think my qualities really went up. My video presence, for the way I do my videos, is improved. My video editing style was really improved. My thumbnails, they're hit and miss at times. I'm still not willing to give up my orange and black. That's kind of a staple of the channel. You know, if it comes up in your suggested videos over there on the right hand side of YouTube while you're watching YouTube, you know it's for me because it's in orange and black. So yeah, I think I've done, I think the channel's done pretty good. 6-core, 12 threads, gonna be good. Yeah, it will be. It definitely will be. It's definitely a major upgrade. The bad thing is you're losing your integrated graphics, but it's still a massive upgrade. Especially the AF. It's kind of hard to find them right now. But yeah, I think I've done. I think I've been doing pretty good with the channel. My qualities really went up. My and all that good happy stuff. But what you guys say we get into the Q&A and the comments and the questions and whatnot? We'll go through them now. We'll flip you over here. We'll go down through the questions and comments that's been left on the videos for the past week. And then we'll get into some of what's coming up on the channel, especially next week's video. Been working all morning on it since, I guess about 3:30, 4 o'clock this morning I started working on the project. Which is going to be another gaming build, but you don't need to know that yet. We'll go through these comments and questions that have been left for the past week. Then we'll talk about a little bit about the subscriber count, the views and all that of the channel, and then we'll talk about what's coming up on the channel for this week, what's coming down the pipeline, and I got a few other things to discuss with y'all, but we'll flip you guys over here and we'll go through these questions and comments here for this week. There you guys go. Should be able to see that. If not, you should see it here in a few seconds. There we go. Like I said, you know, I appreciate all the views. I appreciate the comments. You know, the likes, the shares, all that means a lot to me. I want to say that up front. I know a lot of you guys join me on here on the weekend. You know, you guys watch my content because you like my style of content. Even though it really don't concern you or nothing you really look forward to seeing, but you still like my form of content, and I really appreciate that. You know, I used to say stuff like that in between each comment, but it comes awful repetitive, so I'm saying it now. I'll say it at the end. You know, I really appreciate the comments, concerns, the likes, the shares, and all that for the channel. It means a lot to an old man like me trying to do tech videos. And like I said before, if I butcher your names while I do these, you know, I apologize up front. I'm not very good with the English language, let alone these YouTube handles. Some of them's awful funky, some of them's in different languages and whatnot, so it's kind of hard for me to pronounce them right. Either you'll be mad at me for a long time, or you'll forgive me one way or the other. So let's start here at oldest, like always, 6 days ago. It was on how to overclock your Ryzen 5 3600 on the B550M Wi-Fi motherboard. When I ran a test on Cinebench, my Ryzen 5 3600 X570 motherboard, I've got 3.6 gigahertz at 100%. Why would this be, though, and how could I fix the problem before I get into overclocking? He also replied to his own comment. He said, by the way, you are awesome, bro. I really appreciate the video, simply and straightforward. You just got a new sub, my brother. Well, thank you for the sub. Appreciate that. I drink that new bit having a new sub to the channel. Welcome to the community. Hope you find some helpful information here. But your 3600 is running at 3.6 gigahertz. It's showing 100%. Because that's what it runs out of the box. The 3.6 gigahertz is the base clock of what the 3600 runs. Let me double check that to make sure, but I'm pretty sure it runs 3600 out of the box. 2005, 3600. Whoops, that was a mess up. Huh, look at that. Yeah, it runs 3.6 gigahertz out of the box. So whatever you was running your CPU at 100% usage. 3.6 is what it comes out of the box at. So it's going to show 100% usage, even though it's only hitting 3.6. That turbo boost is what it will boost up to, but it don't mean that you ain't going to see less than 100% usage if it ain't hitting more than 3.6. You know, you're still using all your cores, you're still using all your threads, which on the 3600 6-core 12-thread processor, you're still using 12 cores, or yeah, 6 cores and 12 threads at 100% usage. They're just turboing up to 3.6. They ain't turboing much more. But that's why you're seeing 100% usage, because it's using everything that's available to it. For some reason, it's only boosting up to 3.6. It don't have enough leadway in either the cooling or the voltage or something like that that won't let it go up beyond that 3.6 gigahertz. But actually, at that, it should be, that's fine. I mean, 3600, 100% usage, that usage means the cores and the hyper-threading, or the, what am I trying to say? The cores or the threads is all being used at 100% usage. That's why it's reading 100%, because it's using all 6 cores and 12 threads. But for some reason, it ain't turboing up past the 3.6 gigahertz. I don't know exactly how to explain that any clearer than that. It just, if it's hitting 3.6 gigahertz on 6 core 12 threads, that's 100% usage, because that's what it runs out of the box. Dave, I managed to get an RX 5800X. Nice. Nice. Hell yeah, real nice. I can't even manage to get one of those. Be nice to be able to get a 5000 series CPU. Very nice job. Good job. I hope you didn't overpay for it too much. And that was a Kana, I guess is the way you pronounce it. A-K-I-I. Yeah, A-K-I-I. Akaya, I guess. Kana. Nope, I didn't overpay at all. That's good. That's good. You must hit that refresh button just at the right time to be able to get that. That's nice. Good job. Well done. But that Ryzen 3600, it'll read 100% as long as it's using all the cores and all the threads available to it, even though it's only boosting up to 3.6 gigahertz. That's what the chip's supposed to run at, so, you know, you're still hitting 100% usage. Let's see here. After that one, we have 7 Shade. How to install RGB lights and fans in a computer. I literally thought he was impersonating Bane from The Dark Knight at the beginning of this video, LOL. You know, I don't know if that was funny, or the funny thing was I had to look up and see what Bane actually was. I actually had to Google that to see what Bane was. I don't watch much videos. I don't watch money video TV. So I had to look Bane up, see what he looked like and sounded like. So yeah, I guess I do kind of sound like him. And them damned old cigarettes got my voice so damn deep. But yeah, I guess I do kind of sound like Bane. But no, I wasn't impersonating Bane. I am who I am. My 3600X is still doing everything I need it to do. No need to upgrade yet. Yeah, I mean, that's the main thing. If your components is doing what you're needing, there ain't no reason to upgrade. You know, I got the 3950X as a CPU, but that's because I do 4K video editing. The 2700, it was even doing the 4K video editing. It was just taking longer than what the 3950X does. That's why I went up to the 3950X. I've got a 3600X too. I'm pretty happy with it. Yeah, at 3600X, that'll be fine for quite a while. I mean, unless you really get into gameplay at 1080p with a more powerful video card, that 3600X should last you for quite a while. Because the lower the resolution is that you're playing at, it seems to put more stress on the CPU than it does the GPU, and I don't understand why that is. But you watch a lot of these other guys that really get into the GPUs and whatnot, you know, they test 1080p because it puts more of a strain on the CPU than it does the GPU. But 3600X 6-core 12-thread processor, that'll be plenty for quite a while, I believe, next year or so at least. Like I said, you know, the 2700 was doing me good for everything I was doing instead of 4K video editing. I went to the 3950X just to be able to export my videos a little bit faster. Yeah, but that was my Bane thing. I had to look him up to even see what he sounds like. Which is kind of odd because I've had someone before tell me I sound like a, what was it, The Living Dead or something? I sound like one of the characters from The Living Dead or I don't know, one of them TV shows, which I ain't much into TV shows. But anyways, yeah, that was kind of interesting. He said that I sound like Bane from Dark Knight. I'll take that as a compliment. Maybe I ought to give up my day job and become a voice actor or something. Let's see here. We have Go Moto. How to dedicate more RAM to your Ryzen integrated graphics on the Gigabyte B450 MDS3H. Very simply, he says thank you. Well, he says thanks. Well, you're welcome. Glad I could help you with that. Maxter 1878. That was on Hanging Out with Dave, episode 63, which was last week's episode. He says, good show, Dave. Missed the show yesterday. Got some family stuff going on. So catching up when I can. Well, appreciate you catching up and watching the video. I'm glad you could join me this weekend. See you over there in chat, enjoying yourself. Hope you're enjoying the show. MT Corner, I built a video once of an old Optiplex playing 1080p with screen capturing. I also edited and rendered the video on the same old i5. I was surprised that it did the whole job. Yeah, even them older ones will do it. It's just, I mean, you can go all the way back to dual core and it will actually edit out videos. It's just the time that it takes. You know, from the 2700 up to 3950X for the same video, which I do 4K video, 30-minute video. It may take 30 minutes on the 2700, but it'll take 15 minutes on the 3950X. When you do it for try to make money, or you do it for a side hobby, because I still do it. I'll start a video render and I'll go to bed. It'll stop when it's done. I'll get up in the morning, the video's done. But when you're producing videos like I do, if it knocks 20 or 30 minutes off of a video render, it makes a big difference in your workflow. It means I can get more videos done. It means I can get more videos edited out. It's worth the extra money to have a little bit better processor to be able to do so. And like right now with that 3950X, I could be rendering out a video while I'm doing the live stream, and the processor's strong enough to do so. And I've said it before in my other videos, tech's the one industry that you really get what you pay for. And the higher core count, the higher thread count, the faster processing speeds, it all adds up in time savings. So yeah, you can take an older machine and do a 1080p render, or even a 4K render. It's just going to take a lot longer to be able to get that process done compared to what the newer stuff can do. And then it also adds into, the snappiness of the, how fast things open up and this and that. And there's other benefits to having a better CPU. I'll even recommend, if you got an old laptop or something like that, or you're an old desktop, and you want to speed it up, add an SSD. Because most likely that's where your bottleneck's going to be. It's going to be in the speed of the hard drive. So if you take an old i5 4700K or whatever, you put an SSD in it, it's going to act like a new machine to you, just because the hard drive was the bottleneck. But then once you update the SSD, then your CPU becomes the bottleneck. So the faster one component gets, it makes the other one seem so much slower. But yeah, you can do an old i5 and be able to render a video. It's just the time frame of it and what you expect out of it. Let's see here. Masker. I'm glad you were with me this weekend. I hope everything's going well with your family. I'm glad you still enjoyed the content. You came back and watched it when you had time to do so. Appreciate that. HDDs are dead to me. Yeah, HDDs are pretty old. They are pretty slow. I actually run one still in my system today. I still run a 3 terabyte HHD 7200 RPM hard drive in my system, but it's mainly my backups for my videos, for my parts list, stuff like that. Stuff that I don't need to be real fast. Everything I need to be fast or whatnot, I run off my NVMe drive, which is the 660p 1 terabyte. Any of my programs, my main stuff runs off of it. The 3 terabyte HHD, it's just a backup storage. All my completed videos, all my video edits that I've done, my sound tracks and whatnot, I'll pull off of it to throw into my videos. It's just a mass storage drive, but I still run an HDD actually. I've actually been thinking about investing and going with all solid state for mine. But when you're doing 4K content like I do, it's pretty expensive to buy mass storage, even with SATA 6 or SATA 3 6 gigabit per second storage drive. It's kind of still a little bit on the expensive side to be able to go all SSD with the amount of storage that I need. I recommend going with all SATA or NVMe. if you can afford to, you know, but that ain't a lot of people's budget right now. Let's see here. What else we got? Yeah, they work good for mass storage, just no fun to boot OS. Yeah, your most used programs and whatnot, you definitely want on a SSD at least, at the minimum, if not an NVMe drive. And NVMe drives is to the point to where if you're gonna go SSD, you might as well get an NVMe over a SATA drive. They're so much faster at the same price. Yeah, I agree with that. And like I said, it is just a mass storage for me. Which I got several of them laying around here with video footage and whatnot that I've done. And that's all it is just a mass storage. It's just, you know, if I ever need to pull them files back up, I have access to them. But if you're going to be running a system today, you definitely need an SSD or something for your OS and your games and your majorly used programs. Who else do we got here? We got Freyshot. How to overclock your RAM on the Gigabyte B450M DS3H motherboard. Is this for 16 gigs of DDR4 3000 megahertz? Yes, it is. Any kind of RAM kit that you have in that motherboard, that should be the way you can overclock that, depending on, you know, it don't matter on the speed, it don't matter on the brand. I believe in that video I show you how to turn on XMP profile, plus how to go in and manually overclock it if your XMP ain't steady. So yeah, that should work for any 16 gig DDR4 3000 megahertz kit you may have. That should do you well. Let's see here, my volume's still coming through. Yep, looks like it. MT Coiner. I have a 500 gig NVMe. I'm just too lazy to install and reinstall all my programs. High-speed SSDs is doing okay for now. Yeah, I run the 660p 1 terabyte as my main drive and my main rig anyways. The 660p 1 terabyte. Which it is one of the slower budget options for an NVMe drive. Actually, I'll show you here. Pull up my drives, look at the properties of it. Out of the 1 terabyte, I've got 304 gigs used up, and there's still 558 gigabytes free on this hard drive yet. And that is the 1 terabyte hard drive, 660p that I use, and it's still one of the slower ones. But as you can tell, if I click it, it's there. You know, it don't take no time at all to load up, and it's an NVMe ×3 drive. It ain't a ×4 drive. It don't have DRAM caching, but anything I pull off of that folder, it's there. I mean, it's almost instant. You know, a lot of people say that, you know, DRAM-less hard drives is slower than the ones that got DRAM, which it could be, but what I'm running is fine for me. I mean, you see me click on them and it's there, you know. That's a big improvement over HHDs. It's big, you know, I mean, any game that I pull up, any folder I pull up, I mean, it's there. Compared to, let's see here, the D drive, which there ain't a whole lot on here. Of course, it's been used today, so it's going to pop up fairly easy. But, you know, I showed you, you know, the 1 terabyte's more than enough for what I do. And of course, you've seen what I keep on it. There ain't much that I keep on it. You know, my operating system. You know, my AMD software, my Asus, my video editing that's through Blackmagic Design. It's on there. CPU-Z. Afterburner's on there. You know, but it does good. And of course all my user files. And of course there's all your Windows stuff that's kept on it. And the thing is, even out of that 1 terabyte, I still got plenty of room left. And so if I want to add more files in the future or whatever, if I want to put Cyberpunk 2077 over here on it, which, if I'm not mistaken, it may be on here. That'd be Steam. I think all my game files are actually on this drive. I don't think I run my my gaming software off of the D drive. I think all my games is actually saved on my NVMe drive. Mine is an Intel 720p series M.2. Yeah, I mean any NVMe drive is going to be, you know, a lot faster than a SATA drive at any capacity. Whenever I first got my first SATA drive, I thought it was a godsend, and I paid big money for a little storage for a regular SATA drive. SATA 3, 6 gigabit per second over top the 7200 RPM hard drive. It was amazing to me. And now you got NVMe, you know, you got the times 4 stuff that's even faster than what I'm running. Like I say, you know, the DRAM does make a bit of a difference, but you can see when I was going through my files that it wasn't no time for them to load up. I mean, you know, they say these NVMe drives, times 4 drives is even faster than this. I don't know how they could be. I mean, you click it and it's there. I mean, right there you're seeing in real time how fast they load. But they say they're faster. I don't know. But I'm happy with the way my setup is. I'm running the X470 motherboard, so it won't support the NVMe times 4 speeds yet. But let's get on with these comments and questions here. What else do we got? We have a Norv. I haven't seen that person in the chat today. They're usually here because they're in India. That was on how to cable manage your gaming PC in 2021. Need this now, and you posted it. I'm glad you got some useful information out of that. I didn't put the whole title on the thumbnail. I'm trying to cut down on that. I'm trying to figure out different ways of doing my thumbnails and trying to cut down on some and not putting so much information on them. You know, I think I did pretty good with that thumbnail, though. But I'm glad you got some useful information out of that. That's what you needed at the time that I put it. Crawler PH, also on how to cable manage your new gaming PC. I needed this. Well, thank you. I hope you got some useful information out of it. I hope you got some tips and tricks out of it. And I was able to do you pretty good. Let's see who else we got. We got X Golden Manrats XX. How to build a gaming PC in the Fractal Design Focus G 2019 edition. So despite the color of the PC case you chose, the fans are blue. Yeah, I put blue fans in the front of it. I have them available. I thought the blue fans looked a little bit better than what the white ones that came in the case. So I switched out for the blue fans over the white case, over the white fans. It's a personal decision. I had them laying here, and it's kind of what I decided to put into them. There's my pretty mug. You guys can look at my pretty mug for a while now. But yeah, I did go with blue fans when I did that. My personal rig. Well, it's blue and black. It seems to go together pretty good. We have Jake Israel on the ViewSonic VA2759SMH unboxing overview. He says, "Thanks, Dave." Well, you're welcome. I'm glad you found some information that was useful for you in that video. Who else do we got here? We have Korea Akadis, I guess. Gaming PC build in the Corsair 4000D airflow case. Nice video. Thinking about getting that case. It is a pretty nice case. It's fairly easy to work on, depending on the components you're putting into. I did have a little bit of an issue with the mounting of the radiator, which I think if you put your fans on the radiator and then put it all inside of the case, I think it would relieve that, and that radiator wouldn't be sitting on that little bit of a bind. You know, if you put the fans in front of the radiator, it'd push the radiator back a little bit. It would clear them things, but it is a pretty nice case. It's pretty easy to build in. I rather enjoy building in that case. I think it's pretty good value for the money. We have Foca Smoka. Okay, what a name. AK Racing Core Series EX Gaming Chair. It's almost as bad as the title of the video the replied, put a comment on. Hi, I'm thinking about buying this chair. I am 18.5 centimeters slim. How is the chair holding up for you? How is the lumbar support? Well, number one, 8.15 centimeters don't tell me much. So we'll put that over there. And say feet. Okay, feet ain't adding up too much, so we'll say inches. Inches and feet. So you're less than a foot tall? That can't be right. 1.85 centimeters is 0.07 inches. Am I looking at that right? You're less than a foot tall? .85 centimeters. Maybe put his decimal in the wrong point. Maybe 18.5. 7 foot 2 inches, or 7 inches tall. How many feet is 185? He said 1.85. So you're less than an inch tall? Well, I don't know exactly what to say about that, because apparently this thing ain't adding up right. Divide the length value by 2.54. But if you're only 1.85 centimeters, that means you're less than a foot tall. You're a pretty small fella, and you're slim on top of it. I don't know what to say about that. Sounds like you're a pretty tall fella, even though the metrics ain't adding up right. The lumbar support, the chair's holding up good for me. It's doing well. I've had it for quite a few months now. It's holding up well. The lumbar support, the pillow itself is holding up good. But I still having issues with the straps on it. You know, I put a zip tie around the back of it to kind of keep it in the spot where I need it, but it still don't do real well. It does have decent lumbar support, which my back kind of bends in kind of deep compared to most. I got more of a an arched back than most people do, which fits me pretty good. The support's definitely holding up pretty good. It's just them straps and being able to hold that lumbar pillow where I need it to be. It seems to be the issue with it. Which I said that in that video, you know, at lumbar support, I think they could do a little bit better job with it. As far as the pillow itself, it's holding up good. It does well. And it's because of my chronic leg pain and back pain that I got to keep moving, and then I got to keep moving the pillow. Or if I get up, you know, the straps kind of relax and they'll kind of fall down towards the base of the chair, regardless of what I do. And like I said, I even put a zip tie on the straps, and it still lays all the way to the bottom. I mean, it does good as long as I keep readjusting it and put it where it needs to be. Who else we got here? Unicorn with a Down syndrome. Samsung curved monitor, 27-inch CF396. Unboxing and overview. I can't hook it up to my computer. I can't exactly remember which CF396. CF396. Let's see what kind of display ports it's got on it. FreeSync, response time, game mode. Yeah, I don't care. Track me. It don't matter. Everybody tracks you any damn ways. Specs. I want the specs of it. CNET. CNET usually has pretty good information about the stuff. Display, system mechanical environment, or display, headers, cables. I know it's only got one HDMI cable included. Interface type. It's got HDMI and VGA and headphones. So if you're using anything but an HDMI or VGA, depending on how your computer is set up in the back and the ports that's on the back of your system, you could always get you a converter box. You know, if you got only display ports on the back of your system, or if you got, I don't know, that'd be about the only one I could think of that would be relevant. Be either HDMI or DVI-D or whatever. You can always buy a converter for that. Depending on what you got, go on Amazon and put in what you got. Say, we'll go with display port to learn how to spell, David. And right there's your display port to VGA adapter. You can always buy a cable like that, depending on what your computer has as outputs. Maybe you have a DVI-D, DVI-D, sub D to HDMI. You know, they got connectors for just about anything you need. You may need to buy a connector to get it to go to be able to hook up, depending on what ports you have on the back of your computer. Really don't know what to tell you. Besides, I can't hook up to your computer. It's a pretty vague question, but you know, you can always buy one of them converter things that I just showed you to get it hooked up, depending on what ports is on the back of your computer. We have Yadasa A. On the Cougar MG 120G computer case build for 2020 and 2021. What size of cooling fan, sir? And that build I was using 120 deep cool, so I put 2 in the front and 1 in the back, plus the 2 120s at the top that was running the radiator in that build, because I did put that all in one 240 millimeter in that one. But they was all 120 millimeter fans. Excuse me, guys, I'll be right back. Alright guys, I'm back. Sorry about the interruption. Yeah, but the cooling fans I put in that case was 3 120s, plus the 2 120s on the radiator. Next on this hit list, we have Kazua FN. How to overclock your Ryzen 5 2400G on the Gigabyte B450M DS3H port 3. I have the i5 9400F. Will this work? No. Number one, your CPU won't work on that motherboard because you're running an Intel chip on the if you have that motherboard, it ain't gonna fit in because that is a AMD motherboard. So it ain't gonna fit into that motherboard. The i5 9400F is not a K SKU by Intel, so it is not overclockable. The 9400F is not overclockable at all. So even if you put it on a Z90 9F board, it ain't gonna overclock. With Intel processors, if it don't have a K in the name of it, you know, like the 9400K or the 9400KF or whatever it may be, it ain't gonna be overclockable unless it's got a K on it. Your 9400F is an Intel chip. That's an AMD motherboard. They ain't comparable to each other. They won't work with each other. And there's no way to overclock that as far as I know of. You used to be able to go in and do some overclocking with Intel even though it was a non-K chip. But within about 6 months or so of it, they actually stopped the overclocking of the chips unless you buy a K chip from Intel. We have Layman Campbell. How to overclock your RAM with the Asus Prime B550A Wi-Fi motherboard. He says, great video, Dave. I got this motherboard and I'm just waiting on my Ryzen 5 3600 to come in to build this thing. Super excited. Your video will come in handy when I get everything set up. Thanks a lot and keep up the good content. I'll plan on keeping up the great content. Thank you for watching the video. And that was on how to overclock your RAM. I got a video on how to overclock the 3600, which I'll talk about here towards the end of the show here. But I'm going to actually redo a video on overclocking the 3600 on that particular motherboard. But that's to be discussed here in a few minutes. Who else do we got here? We have Leo Faziga. Guess how you pronounce it? The way I'm going to pronounce it. How to overclock your RAM on the Gigabyte B450M DS3H motherboard. He says, thanks a lot, dude. I have a Urus B450M, and then it advertised that it could run 3600 megahertz RAM. So I got 3600 megahertz RAM, and when I used XMP, it would literally crash my PC 30 seconds after booting to Windows all the time. I set it to 3200 and it fixed it all. Thank you for making this video. It saved me from having to buy a slower memory. Yeah, if you didn't check that QVL list, or even with the QVL list, you know, it don't always run at what it's supposed to on XMP. So you may have to go in and shut them timings down a little bit, but I'm glad you didn't have to buy new RAM, because RAM prices are starting to go up a little bit compared to what they used to be. But I'm glad you could get that memory running 3200 megahertz. I hope that's running fast enough for you, which it should be. Who else do we got here? We have Mr. Knox, I guess we pronounce that. How to overclock the Ryzen 5 3600 on the Asus motherboard. Congratulations for the video and many thanks. I have tried other Onsigna that modified many things, but the CPU was not working well. Now I am stable at 4.5 megahertz at 75 degrees on a Ryzen 7 3700X Cinebench R23 score of 13448. Thanks again. You're welcome. I'm glad I could help you with that. I'm glad you got that, what was it, 3700X overclocked that good. That's a pretty good score. It's stable at 75 degrees. Sounds pretty good overclock to me. I'm glad I could help you get that performance out of that chip. And we have Mr. Grumbler, 47 minutes ago. How to overclock your RAM on the Gigabyte B450M. So I followed your steps, and the BIOS is showing 3200 megahertz, but when I restart my computer, will fail to post or 3 times, then finally start. When it does, the RAM is only running at 2133. I tried both using XMP profile and RAM is on the QVL for my Mobo, and mainly overclocking it. My motherboard is X570 Gaming X. BIOS is F33C, Corsair Vengeance, RGB Pro 3200 gigahertz. I've tried A1, AB, A2, and AB with the same results. CPU is the Ryzen 3700X. Uh, 3.6, 4.4 boost. Overclocked to 4.2 stable using AMD Ryzen Master and automatic OC. Any suggestions? VK, good afternoon, Dave. Hope you're having a good one. Hope you are too, VK. Thank you for joining me today. Hope you're having a good one too, VK. Thanks for joining me this afternoon. I'm having a pretty good day now. Not too bad. It's Saturday. It's always a good day when I'm off from my full-time job. Thank you for joining me. Appreciate it. And again, it goes back to that Corsair RAM. I've had a lot of people tell me that Corsair is not validated to be working with the Ryzen platform. I know and it resets several times before it finally starts. That means the computer itself, or the motherboard, is setting it back to its clock memory, its stock memory, which is 2133 megahertz. Even though it's on that QVL, which I've said in my other videos, you know, because it's on the QVL don't mean that it's going to work. Unfortunately, that is some of the learning curves with Ryzen processors and that Corsair RAM. Corsair RAM is very, I don't know, I've had someone comment and they said that Corsair has actually came out and said that their RAM ain't compatible with the Ryzen processors. And I know it ain't what you paid for, but I'd cut that speed back from 3200 megahertz to maybe 3000 megahertz, maybe 2933 megahertz, and see if it stabilizes. That would probably be about my best guess on that. I don't have that motherboard. I don't have the 3700X to do any testing with, and I don't have that RAM kit. Even if I did, you know, your variants may do. I'd try to cut that back to 3000 megahertz, maybe 2933, and see if that's stable for you. That'd probably be about the best thing that I could guess. That would probably be legit for you. I mean, without having the system here to actually do what I needed, you know, to be able to run my own diagnostics. But yeah, I'd say cut that back to 3000, you know, mainly overclock it to 3000 megahertz or 2933, which it does suck because you pay for the 3200 megahertz speed. And, you know, I've said in my other videos, you know, because it's on that QVL list, it should work out of the box, but the XMP won't always work, even though it's on the QVL list. It's just, Ryzen is still very finicky about the memory timings. It's unfortunately, but that's what it is. We have nothing else held for review published. Let's refresh that, see if there's anything else. That was 1 hour ago, so we don't have nothing else. Nothing held for review. I actually had a couple other ones come in. In the past week or so, but I've actually deleted them. I've actually reported them. I'm starting to get spam, so I must be making it big here on YouTube, right? But that's going to pretty well do it for the comments that was left this past week on the show, on the videos. I want to thank y'all that's been active here on the live stream. I want to thank y'all for watching my videos, the comments, the shares, the likes, and all that. It means a lot to me. It really does. Some of them questions was kind of tough to come up with an answer for, but we made through them. You know, we talked about the 3060 and what NVIDIA's trying to do to stop the miners from buying up all the cards, which don't seem to be working. You know, we went back and looked at some of my videos and seen where I came from to where I am today, which I think I've came a long ways. Just with my camera presence, with my video equipment, with the lighting. You know, it all makes a big effect. You know, I got better audio now than what I started out with. I think it all makes a big difference. As far as the channel goes, I don't think our viewers were real good this past week, actually. Looks like we've got about 9 new subscribers. Nine people have joined the community this week. It's down. But you'll have that. We'll have the slow times. But that's alright. I ain't gonna stop what I'm doing. My views is down, my watch time's down, of course, you know. Maybe it's that time of the year, you know, whatever. It happens. But I ain't gonna let it get me down. So the channel hasn't got a whole lot of new community members this week, but that's alright, we'll push on. Flip you guys over here. We are up to 1,283. Like to see a little bit higher number, but it is what it is. And if you wasn't with me or you wasn't watching at the time, if you look behind me there, actually see some of the mess behind me yet. Does that case look somewhat familiar to you right there? I'm actually building the test bench and the, I don't even know what the name of it even is. It's the Cooler Master half XVO Evo case. XB Evo half. I don't know what the name of it even is. There it is. Newegg. We'll go to Newegg. There we go. We'll actually rebuild it in this case, which you can see it's still for sale for $110. The Cooler Master half XB Evo. I'm putting a video together this week. We are building a test bench in this case. I'm kind of kicking around what components to actually use with it. But if you see my Pure Loop 240 millimeter all-in-one review, that's actually why I bought that, was to go into that case. Because once you're done with it with a case, it does turn into an open air test bench. Makes it easy for swapping parts out and whatnot. You know, a lot of big YouTubers that do the airflow test and the temperature testing and everything, you know, a lot of people give them a lot of grief. You know, they say it ain't indicative of what the system can do once it's inside of a case and whatnot. And I've said it before, you know, that's why I bought that particular case. I plan on using it as an open test bench. But I could also put the sides and the top back on it. And it's got two 120s in the front, pulling air in. It's got a 120 in the back, pulling air out. So it's still pretty indicative of what the temperature would be inside of a normal case. That's kind of why I bought that case back in 2014, 2015. When I actually bought that case, that's why I bought it. To use it as a test bench. But I can also slap the sides on it, and I can give you the results that you guys are looking for. You know, the two 120s in the front pulling air in, the 120 in the back. And when you're doing with, you know, airflow and stuff like that, you know, there's no way you can actually match everybody's particular case. You know, you'd have to go out and buy all these different cases, rebuild the system in all these different cases. But with this case, I can run it as an open air test bench, or I can put the side panels on it and give you a more realistic idea of what you can expect out of your components as far as airflow goes. So this week coming up on the channel, we are building a test system in that case. I did put the Pure Loop 240 millimeter in it, because I want to retest the Ryzen 5 3600 overclocking on that Asus motherboard. if you watch that video, I was hitting temperature limitations because of the stock heat sink. That 240 millimeter should be a good alternative to that. You know, at Pure Loop, it is, or was, I don't know exactly what the price is on it right now, but it was about $100 air cooler, which Pure Loop 240 millimeter. Huh, it ain't showing up on Newegg. Let's see if it's available on Amazon then. It was about $100 air cooler or an all-in-one. But with that 240 millimeter all-in-one, yeah, Amazon's got it for $95. I want to retest the overclocking the 3600 on that motherboard with accurate or better cooling to it, because the 3600 was actually hitting the limitations of the temperature, which was holding it back. There's the cooler, you know, $95. It's an all 240 millimeter all-in-one water cooling. I am putting that in the case, which is actually why I bought that cooler, was to put it into the case for the test bench. I also have, I've mentioned it before, I've got an old, I think it's an MSI version, maybe an Asus version of an RX 570 that I picked up off of eBay at the end of the last mining crave that I want to do some videos on. So that'll be coming up on the channel as well. And I bought that graphics card because I knew it was an old mining card, and it didn't have the gaming BIOS on it. But I'm still having issues even once I updated the BIOS on it. That's a pretty good deal. CPU water cooler all in one for $100. Yeah, it is a pretty good deal. If you've seen the unboxing overview of it, there's a couple reasons why I wanted to look at this cooler. Number one, it's refillable, and number two, the pump ain't actually connected to the CPU block. Makes it kind of interesting to me. It's a little bit of a different design, you know, and, to actually see if it's going to actually hold up or not, you know, which I kind of like the idea that the pump ain't connected to the block. I like the idea that it's refillable, which they send you a small bottle of fluid with it. Makes a kind of difference than most all-in-ones, and it's only $100, you know, for 240 all-in-one. I think it's a pretty good deal, which I did the unboxing overview of it. I want to do some more testing with it, you know. I think it's a pretty good deal. It's a pretty solid deal. But I want to do some testing with it, see how it actually performs and whatnot. I had it in the Cougar MG 120G case build. I've pulled it out of it and put it into the test bench now. But building that test bench is coming up on the channel this week. So yeah, that'll be what's coming up this week. You can expect that. You can expect the overclocking of the 3600 with appropriate cooling. If you see my Ryzen 3600 overclocking video, you know, I was hitting temperature limitations because the air cooler couldn't keep it cool enough. You know, a stock heatsink just wasn't quite enough to do it. I figured that 240 would be a good solution, you know, for less than, you know, $100 AIO on a 3600 ain't unheard of. You know, I think that's what a lot of people would be looking at and whatnot. I think it'd be a pretty good combination, you know. But I got it set up the way I got it set up because the 3600 is a good processor right now. If you can find it at stock prices. or the manufacturer's suggested retail price, it's still a good deal. I think a lot of people that's on a budget would be looking at this processor. I want to start getting into some, go back to my basics. The channel is based on new PC users, new gamers, getting into the PC gaming race. It's more on a budget. I want to start looking at some air coolers, some of the cheaper ones, and kind of compare them to see what they do, and stuff like that. I think that case and that test bench of it, and where you can put the side panels back on, would be a good testament of what it could do. As far as air coolers and whatnot goes. I like to get into doing some more RAM testing. Like that one comment, it's on the QEL, but it can't hit the max frequency. You can't get the 3200 or 3600 megahertz out of it. It just ain't stable. Maybe do some RAM testing with different kits to see how it performs with the B550 series. And it is a test bench, so it's easy to swap out the motherboards. So maybe do some testing on different motherboards with different RAM kits. Like I said, the all-in-one air coolers or the all-in-one liquid coolers. Maybe get some more of them coming in. Some of these stand-up air coolers like the Hyper 212, but some of the cheaper versions of that. Maybe do some testing with some of them, see how they hold up. And I think that Pure Loop, I think it's going to be pretty good for less than $100, especially when you're looking at a 3600, Ryzen 5 3600 system. I think it's going to be a pretty good comparison. I'm going to see what I can get out of that processor, which I said in the last time I overclocked that CPU on that motherboard. I thought I could get that, 3.7 or 4.7 overclock out of it if I had better cooling. So I'm going to see what's going to happen with that AIO, which I think it's going to do it. So you can expect content on that. Like I said, I got that old RX 570 back there that was an old mining card. And that gives me a platform to put it in to get the BIOS flashed on it and see what's exactly wrong with that old graphics card. You'll see some content coming up on that. And that the test bench, the way I'm setting it up, it's going to change over time. Different processors we put in, different motherboards, different CPUs, different GPUs. But it's a decent platform. I got a 650 watt power supply putting into it, which is going to be more than enough for anything that's on a budget. Even some of the higher end graphics card CPU combinations, that 650 watts, plenty. I run the 3950X. I run the 2070 Super in my system. I run a 650 watt power supply in my system. That seems to be plenty for what I needed to do, So anything that I put on that test bench, I think it's going to be plenty. I think it's going to hold up well. So that's some of the content that's coming up this week. This week alone is going to be getting that test bench set up. But that's kind of why I went with the components that I did. I want to do the overclocking with the 240 millimeter all-in-one with the Ryzen 3600, see what I can actually push it to on that B550 motherboard. I got quite a few other ideas that I want to do with that case. Like I said, different CPU coolers and stuff like that. That's more on the budget side of thing, which is what the channel is based on. Stuff like that, I definitely needed to get that thing set up. It's one of the things I've been putting off doing because I really haven't had the time, but I'm making time to do it. So yeah, that'll be this week's videos, setting up that test bench. But I've been gone for quite a while now. I've been gone for, wow, it's been over 2 hours I've been live streaming today. But I'm going to cut it off here for the day. We talked about the topics that we was going to talk about, you know, the 3060 and NVIDIA trying to do something with these miners, trying to slow them down, you know, and how the 3060 ain't going to be the answer to it because they're doing it through a BIOS and software, which they run their own BIOS and their own software, so it ain't going to stop the miners from wanting them cards. We went back and we looked at some of my older videos and where I came from. You know, I kind of gave my comments on that. You know, I think I've came a long way here on YouTube over the last 5 years, even though there was a 2-year break there where I really didn't do nothing with it. So I think the channel is doing pretty good for as young as the channel is. I'm pretty happy with my success. You know, the community's growing day by day. May not be at the rate that I'd like to see it grow, but it is growing. But I think that's going to wrap it up for this weekend. I hope y'all having a good weekend. I hope y'all enjoy the rest of your weekend. Cheers to y'all. I want to thank y'all for watching the videos, coming out and hanging out with me today. The comments, the likes, the shares, all that adds up. And I really appreciate it all. You know, when I started this thing almost 5 years ago, I didn't think I'd get to where I'm at today. And it's because of you guys that I am to the point that I am. I want to thank y'all for that. I appreciate that so much. But if you like this kind of content, go down and give me a like. If not, there's that dislike button. There's also a comments section below. I go through them every weekend here on my live stream, 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on Saturday morning. If you really like this kind of content, don't forget to go down and hit that subscribe button, turn that notification bell on. That way you're notified next time I put out a video. I'll go live here on YouTube. And if you're also interested, I'm on Instagram and Twitter. I don't kill your inbox, but I do put up photos of new stuff I have coming in. Can give you an idea what's coming up on the channel. If there's any information about my live stream, if I got cancer or change the time, it's where you also get that information. And with all that being said, you all have a good weekend or a good day, and I'll see you in the next live stream or video.